I am continuing the Reiki III class today. Again, this is something Karina sprung on me, so I'm grateful to her, and I feel that this is the Reiki III centers around a lot of crystal energy. So there's just, we covered the crystals this morning. There's just a tiny bit that I wanted to say further about crystals that I hadn't covered this morning. And so I'm going to add it to the afternoon class. The sections of a crystal, wherever it turns a corner, is called a facet. And every single time I purchase one, I make sure that one of the faces has 7 facets, because the 7 facets are a channeling. That's emblematic of it being a channeling crystal, which simply means that it is easier for you to hear your guides come in when you sit down with pad and paper and take in the information for the that you're hearing. And so I just want you, I'm going to pass each one of these to you so you can count the and feel it, and just feel what it looks like, so that you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it turns the corner, and let's see if this one, Karina, has the 7. If because even one of them might be very, very small. Is that 6?
What, in the top? In the top?
Yeah. See if there's another little turn.
I think this one is 6.
6.
There's 7 on one of them.
On one of them. Okay. Should be 7. Okay. Did you find
7.
another one?
There's 7
okay.
on the big
No,
ones.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in this one.
Okay. What
At
about
least,
this one?
At least this little cut here means 7.
This one has 7.
Okay.
6,
All right.
6, the final.
Okay.
6.
So we didn't find 7 on that, but here we have, and you can hold it up close to them so they can see the 7 facets to.
Oh, okay.
And you can see the rainbows in it too, with the light hitting it.
It's a little difficult to differentiate.
It is. But anyway, that was basically the only thing that I wanted to add to the fact. So if you're going to bring a large crystal home, or even larger crystal home, just make sure one of the faces has 7. Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. All right. So turn to, we're going to start right from the beginning. Turn to page 2 on your book. This is the book. It's called Reiki 3rd Degree Master Practitioner. And all I do is I taught Reiki 3 for 6 years prior to the actually making my own class. But I was able to, once I became serious about teaching Reiki, what I did is that I took Reiki all over again, 1, 2, and 3. And so I had a total of 4 teachers. And then I combined the information from 2 of the teachers and into my information, because of the fact that 2 of the teachers said no, their information was copyrighted. So I honored that. I did not take anything from their teachings. Then after 6 years of teaching, 2 years of teaching Reiki 1, I wrote my own class. 4 years of teaching Reiki 2, I wrote my own class. And then 6 years of teaching Reiki 3, I wrote my own class. And I do give permission to all my students to take and use my brochure. I mean, you can use it the rest of your life if you want to, if you don't feel like, doing your own. The first, and I'm going to go through these opening pages pretty quickly. Some of this stuff is just a review. The first part is a brief introduction to Reiki, how Dr. Usui first brought it to the planet by going under a waterfall and having the Reiki symbol show up in his head, and then teaching it to the 17 master practitioners before he died in 1926. One of the master practitioners was Dr. Hayashi, and who then one of his students became Mrs. Takata, and Mrs. Takata was the gal who brought it to the West. The only problem with Mrs. Takata's bringing it to the West is that she took a lot of liberty with the history of Reiki, because at the time she brought it to the West, it was 1938, and we were on the brink of World War II. At that time, the whole Japanese culture was really not very well received by the United States. So she, in trying to be sincere and recognizing how important of a thing this was, she made up facts of Dr. Usui. She just basically said he ended up teaching in the United States, once in Chicago, once in California, which wasn't true. And so when several people went looking to verify the facts, they didn't find them. And so Reiki for a while had to it kind of stumbled in the dark, because people started thinking, well, if these facts aren't true, what else isn't true? And so it kind of made it very difficult for people to accept Reiki. But fortunately, along came William Rand, who, when he realized he couldn't verify Mrs. Takata's information, he actually went to Japan and then went and got the exact history. And along with two other people, he published The Spirit of Reiki, written in conjunction with Walter Lubeck and Frank Petter. And Frank Petter even took one step further and published Dr. Usui's original handbook. And so Dr. Usui's original handbook was completely different than the way we teach Reiki today. When we teach Reiki, we basically tell everybody that there's an unlimited supply of Reiki. All you have to do is you open your crown, and God's energy comes in through you, comes out of your eyes, out of your hands, out of your heart, and eventually, as you continue to practice it, out of every cell in your body. So basically, you can change the energy of a room just by walking into that room. Mm-hmm. You can walk into a room that's very contentious. Think about business, office meetings. And just by virtue of the fact that you come in there with your intent to bring in peace, harmony, and healing, that happens. And so that's one of the best reasons to learn it. The original Reiki handbook of Dr. Usui also showed the world that Dr. Usui insisted on a number of steps that had to be learned by each one of his practitioners, and the steps varied from disease to disease. So effectively, the students couldn't go on to learn the next protocol until they had mastered all the steps for a particular disease, were tested on it and everything. Our attitude is Reiki has an intelligence of its own. We do not need to tell it what to do. All we have to do is put our intent to put it out there, and that's it. So we do not give anybody any. We do not have to give anybody any specific hand motions. Okay, so now when electrical currents flow from us. We basically have an electromagnetic field that surrounds us. It's the same field of energy that surrounds everything. And that electrical field can be manipulated because, and maybe manipulated is too strong of a word, but effectively, what happens is that a sick person, and this has been scientifically proven by people who have been wired up to show this on different types of machinery. A sick person will have electromagnetic frequencies that emanate from them that are much, much lower, much slower, and much less than the electromagnetic energies that come out of the hands, heart, and eyes of a healer. And so when the sick person receives that energy from the healer, the energies of the illness basically move out while the energies of the positive healing move in. And the energies of the positive healing are there simply because we do have that biomagnetic field. We are absolutely able to exchange somebody's energy with our intent because energy follows intent. So effectively, you do not need to have anything special except the intent to heal. The more you work with that intent, the stronger you get as a healer. I know, like, for example, the days where I might have had done 8 healings in a row in one day, I have found that as I did each healing, my healings got stronger rather than weaker. People say, well, at the end of the workday, I'm exhausted. Well, at the end of the workday, and for me, when I give Reiki, I'm energized because it works just the opposite. Because the energy flows through me first before it goes out of me into the person on the table. So another reason to learn how to do Reiki, you're the main beneficiary of it too. So the healer heals himself, herself, as he gives Reiki. Like I said, the Reiki energy, totally self-directed. We do not have to tell it what to do, where to go, how to do. Okay, so we can turn the page. We're on page 4 now. Reiki awareness. The first degree Reiki, and I tell my students my first degree students, is it works on the physical body. What you are taught to do, and this is all review, what you are taught to do is to place hands on yourself or hands on another person. But you are also taught that you can do distance Reiki. And you can, with your intent, place the image of a person between your hands and send Reiki to them. So effectively, all this energy works on the physical body. In second degree Reiki, and getting back to first degree Reiki, you will actually feel the energy coming out of the entire hand. In second degree Reiki, it's more pinpointed. The second degree Reiki works inside the cells. And I know in my case, if I'm working and it just comes out as it comes out. So I can't say, I tell it. I never say, what's to happen. But in second degree Reiki, the energy is more focused inside the palms. At least that's the way I've experienced it. Somebody else might experience it differently. So it comes out more in the center. In third degree Reiki, it comes out more through the fingertips. So that effectively you can do a technique, what I call reiking. And raking is simply growing etheric fingers to the point where your fingers are bigger than the fingers of the person on the table, deeper than the person on the table, starting at the head, working down the whole body and coming through to the end, and effectively then dragging the energy along with it, you know. So that's I found one of the most beneficial ways of using third degree Reiki. Third degree Reiki works in the auric field and outside the cells. It also works in the soul level. It also works with your past lives, because effectively, my premise is, and I have learned this from many other teachers, there's nothing you can't heal. You can heal your past life, which will then heal your present life, which will heal your future life, or which will change, I should say, your future life. So that's really kind of exciting. Okay. I'm going to teach you now a gasho meditation. And this is a very simple technique. Just place your book on the table. All right. And the gasho meditation, gasho simply means two hands coming together. And in the gasho meditation, you fold your hands into prayer position, you put your thumbs together, and then you take your thumbs, press them into your breastbone, and take your vision and put it on the tall man, the middle finger. And for a minimum of 30 seconds to a minute, you are going to do nothing but focus and concentrate on your breath and on that tall finger. So take a deep breath in. And keep your concentration on the middle finger. Okay, and lift your head. Mary, were you able to keep your concentration on the middle finger without any other thoughts interfering?
There were some thoughts that came in.
That came
Not a
in.
lot, yeah.
Okay, all right. I think as you continue to practice, you might see that you actually can eliminate all thoughts just because of that, of the fact that you're focusing. Karina, how was your experience?
No, I also have some thoughts.
Come in,
Yes.
too. Okay.
I was trying to eliminate those.
Yeah.
Then I came, go.
Can go. Okay. All right. I didn't. I think maybe one time I kind of the thought went through, I wonder what's happening. So, but that's strictly, the fact that I'm the teacher. So that, but as a result, I think I've done this enough to know that as long as I keep that focus and concentration on the middle finger, I'm fine. You can actually eliminate. And this is a way of starting meditation. You can actually start this meditation for yourself in this manner by just those thumbs pressing into your breastbone. Focus and concentrate on the middle finger. You will get yourself into a quiet place, and then you can go from there sink to the bottom of the ocean, go out into the cosmos, do whatever it is that you want to do to bring in everything else. The other meditations I do not practice, so I'm not going to teach you. But this one, Kan Yoku on page 6, this one is extremely important because this one you can help yourself with. You can help yourself throughout the day with any time energy feels like it's glommed on you, especially if it's energy you don't want. So very, very simple. This simply means Kenyoku means dry bathing. Super simple technique. Take your hand and both of you just follow me first. Let me demonstrate first. Right hand, left shoulder across the body. Left hand, right shoulder across the body. Left hand up, flick. Left hand up, flick. Right hand up, flick. That's it.
Okay.
That's the sum total of what you have to do. And the beauty with dry bathing is that anytime that somebody's tried to pick a fight with you, anytime somebody's tried to back you into a corner, anytime you've received a phone call that discombobulated you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get rid of it. The effects of it. And it's almost like a breath of fresh air. And also by you taking a deep breath, as you do this, you can just release whatever, but it's not only that you release what's built up in you, it's you don't even allow it to build up in you. Because most people, the way most people react is that they take it, stuff it. Take it, stuff it. And this is not what you want to do. You absolutely want to be in a place where this does not accumulate for you. Okay. So do you get it? You don't have to practice anymore. Or do you want to practice?
It's really easy.
It's very simple. And then of course it's right here if you need it. Okay. The page 7, Yashiho just simply means using eyes to send Reiki. During your attunement, one of the things that I do in your attunement is I place my hands over your eyes. And in the process of doing that, I basically say, let these eyes only be used for love. And with that statement, that changes energetically how you use your eyes. That there's no low energy, low vibration, no hatred, no judgment. In other words, you're letting go of the stuff that doesn't serve you anymore. And so you align with love. And that's the beauty of that meditation. There's nothing to this except that I don't feel you really have to do anything. So I don't feel I really have to teach you anything. All you have to really do is kind of just remember that you as a Reiki master practitioner, and the word master doesn't mean that you've mastered anything. It's just that you've agreed to study Reiki from now on for the rest of your life. That's how the word master is used in Reiki master practitioner. That you use your eyes in a loving manner. So does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fantastic. All right, turn the page. Healing crisis. This is page 8. This is something that I haven't really had. There's many people that have told me that not any other teacher has really covered this, But once in a while, you will find, and it's happened to me twice, that you will have a healing crisis, which simply means that you actually feel worse after a Reiki session than you feel before you had it.
Oh,
All right?
The master Reiki practitioner or
Anybody.
anybody.
Anybody. It could happen to Reiki 1, it could happen to anybody. Is that when they receive the Reiki,
Mhm.
they actually feel worse.
Okay.
And again, you have to remember, just go back to the biomagnetic field. If your body was used to carrying a certain amount of pain, feeling a certain way, and now that way has changed. That way has been moved out, and a new way has been given you. Well, that new way just doesn't feel comfortable. Your cells have to readjust. Your organs have to readjust. Your muscles have to readjust. Your bones have to readjust. Lymph nodes, hormones. And so effectively, they do say that, and this has been my experience, that you might feel horrible for 48 hours. But after that, you will start recovering. You will start feeling better. That exactly was my experience. The one time when I was on the table and the person giving me the Reiki session said who happened to be my teacher, and said, "How deep do you want to go?" And I said, "As deep as possible." And I know as I laid on the table, my arm kept going like this, and so did my leg. And then for the next 4 days, I spent 2 days in bed and completely kind of comatose, and then 2 days feeling better, but still not able to, by any means, keep a regular program going. Just doing what I normally do. So just know that that's possible. Okay. 4 days of, I'm not going to say abject misery because you're still healing, but 2 days of really not feeling good and 2 days of recovery, okay? So just want you to know that absolutely is possible. All right, next, page 9, spirit helpers. All right. Basically, I come from the premise that I am spirit having a human experience. Anything is possible. And that's why when I talk about everything that I talk about, it's not weird to me. It's not strange. It's because I'm spirit having a human experience. It's normal. If you can kind of keep that in mind, the other premise that I come from is I am not on this journey alone. I am not going through life without assistance. And it is up to me to find out who I need, who is there for me, who I can rely on. And as I ask for help and as I'm willing to accept help, I'm given help. I'm giving more and more and more help. Spirit guides, if there are so many times when I can look at somebody and I can see like 9 people, 9 spirits behind them because of the fact that they have a very active spiritual practice. And they just simply invite these people to accompany their journey. So I really want you to know that spirit helpers come in many, many forms. They can be angels, they can be archangels, they can be ascended masters, they can be part of the Devic kingdom, and we'll talk about that because that's another whole trip. But they can also be your ancestors. And in your ancestry line, you might find, you may find it, you may not, but I'm just going to throw the thought out there that you are actually one, if not more, of those ancestors. In other words, it's your soul that's in your own ancestry line. That would make sense. So the great, great, great grandmother was you. The great, 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 great grandfather was you. So, and because it's so interesting for those who do genealogical research, what they discover is that, oh my God, I really identify with this person who lived in 1890. And I'm sitting there a lot of times laughing and I'm thinking, yeah, of course, because that was you, and everything. The first time somebody hears that, they might think, not sure about that. But after you hear it a couple times, you won't feel it's that strange. Again, spirit helpers are there for you, but you have to let them in. You have to be okay with them coming in for you. Some of the spirit helpers, spirit guides, the angels. There are 9 choirs of angels. And I know there are books out there that say there are 10 choirs, there are 11 choirs, there are 12 choirs. Seraphim and cherubim, in my understanding, sit next to the throne of God. The thrones are out there in the cosmos. The dominations, the virtues, and the powers are concerned with global and planetary issues. And it's so interesting. Dominations dominate, powers. How many people are in search of power? Virtues. The more virtue we can anchor to the planet, the happier we can make this place. Then the last grouping, and these are the ones that are mainly concerned with the affairs of this planet, the principalities, the archangels, and the angels. And the archangels, there are wonderful, wonderful books of angels out there. I know when I first started my spiritual quest in the 1980s, I kind of looked around my landscape, my horizon, my friends, and I realized there's one person I had in my life that I could turn to that could teach me anything about spiritual matters. But at least I had one, and she was the one who was instrumental in handing me A Course in Miracles, the book A Course in Miracles. But in the 80s, when I first time I was told about the book, I just kind of looked at it. It was up on the shelf. It was in a bookcase. The second time when it was actually put in my hands, I opened it and I read 1 or 2 paragraphs and I said, well, this sounds like a schizophrenic wrote it. Obviously, I wasn't ready for it. And the third time when I was invited, but this is in the 90s, it was 1995, it was December, and it just happened to be an ice storm that day. But I was invited to accompany one of my tenants to A Course in Miracles grouping that had like 15 students. I think 14 of us showed up that day, in spite of the fact that it was a ice storm. And that then became the basically the source of my spiritual belief, and where I recognized that when I walked in the door and I saw these people, and by the end of the evening, I recognized I had found my spiritual family, because that's how important A Course in Miracles became in my life. And I personally credit it with saving my life, saving my sanity, and saving my marriage, because there is one particular passage in A Course in Miracles that made such an enormous difference for me. It's, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And I choose to be happy, because before I always chose to be right. And I wanted to get that rightness across and everything, but that doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't matter. And the beauty is that any one of the students that, because I facilitate A Course in Miracles class at Sacred Circle in Alexandria, Virginia, on the 3rd Saturday of the month, every one of them practices some version of that. And every one of them is so much happier than they ever were prior to that. besides the angels being your helpers, and there are many, many times where you will get the sense of a being that, in my case, is as big as the sky, and maybe that's only half of him or her. And when I sense them, uh, I recognize that, oh my God, they're there. They're there for me. All I have to do is pay attention. All I have to do is allow them in, and that I do through my morning prayers. And but there is another group, and they are part of the angelic kingdom. They're the Devic kingdom, and the Devic kingdom are the first of all, the Deva herself is the architect of form. She's the one who is responsible for bringing all form into the world. Everything has a Deva. This book originated as because the Deva first brought it into form on the etheric plane. So did this table, so did this paper, so did these crystals, so did the chandeliers, so did our bodies, effectively. But the Devic kingdom, it's the grouping that the elementals come from. And the elementals collectively, the earth elementals collectively are called gnomes. The air elementals collectively are called sylphs. The fire elementals collectively are called salamanders. And the water elementals collectively are called undines. There's many, many, many beings underneath every one of those categories. In undines, for example, the water elementals, mermaids, mermen. There's a wonderful group called, I know it has something to do with seals, and for some reason
Triton.
the
The Triton.
right, Triton.
Triton. Those are the male version of the mermaid.
Okay, so
The
like the
Triton.
mermen. And the gnomes, this is where the elves, the pixies, the trolls, the ogres, the green man, the brownies, they all come into play. The only thing that I've done classes on fairies. I absolutely love the fairies, but I do want you to know, once you start working with them, they're mischievous, and they will do things like, "Hi, take your stuff." And a whole thing that I have found, though, they take it. If you're lucky, they return it. Because today, in one of this morning, I showed everybody a piece of labradorite that has been missing for 10 years. It was taken from my living room and returned into my master bedroom. And in fact, I just got it back about a month ago. And so, which absolutely shocked me because it had never been in my master bedroom. But anyway, um, they they are mischievous, but this is the price that you pay. Um, I do recommend that you go to another YouTube that's entitled Fairies. You'll get a whole more information on that. For the spirit guides that stay with you on a day-to-day basis, there is a whole list of them. These are from the angelic kingdom. This is a master guide, and he's involved with your everyday spiritual growth and wisdom. A gatekeeper, protector guide, protects us from negative energies. Inspirational guides for all of you who have continued to birth great ideas, but somehow abort them. Ask your inspirational guide to help you bring it to fruition, because so many of you will find that you will have great ideas, but that's as far as it goes. You never do anything with them. The helper guide, and the helper is the guide that will then help us bring these goals into being. Relationship guide, that's I would say that's one of the three major questions of people seeking advice on this spiritual plane is uh, to help with relationships. And everybody wants to feel, number one, love, but number two, they want to feel that they are cherished and that they are special to at least one person on the earth, and a healing guide. Um, it's my premise that you do not have to go through life saddled to stagnant energies, saddled to pills, saddled to anything else. I feel you can heal yourself, and uh, just knowing that you can do this is enough. Now, the energetic field of light and color that surrounds us. This is the auric field. We have 7 major chakras. We have a crown chakra, we have a brow chakra, we have a throat chakra, we have a heart chakra, we have a solar plexus chakra that's right at our waist. We have a sacral chakra that's around our genital area. And then we have a root chakra that's where our coccyx is. Chakra simply means spinning wheel of light. And chakra is what the subtle bodies are then attached to. Every single chakra has a corresponding subtle body. The subtle bodies the subtle body that's attached to the root chakra, the first chakra, is called your etheric chakra. I'm sorry, etheric subtle body. That has your etheric subtle body is the exact template, exact duplicate of your physical subtle body, and that's the cause of what they call phantom pain. Because if when you're missing a body part, but you're missing a hand, but you still feel pain in your hand,
Yes.
that's where it comes from, because your etheric body is still there, and your etheric body somehow obviously absorbed that pain.
My grandmother had that pain when she lost her leg.
She lost her leg, but she
Yeah.
still obviously had the
She
pain.
has pain. And
Yeah.
she told sometimes that she had the leg and she tried to stand, but she didn't have it.
But she doesn't have a leg.
No.
Yeah. And anywhere. Okay, so that's your etheric body. Your etheric body sits about 3 to 6 inches away, and for most people, I have on occasion found an etheric body that was practically plastered right next to the physical body. That's how drawn in the people were. But and that's one of the jobs of a Reiki practitioner, is to plump up these bodies so that we have the full use of the energy field that surrounds us, rather than having it all drawn in or displaced over to the side. I'm going to have another class just on that alone, because energy distortions is an extremely interesting field. The second subtle body is your emotional body. And the second subtle body is, again, each one of these subtle bodies, if healthy, is about 6 inches wide. And the second subtle body is where all the emotions live. And therefore, if you've gone through life with emotional hassles, with emotional problems, you're going to have distortions in the second subtle body. You're going to have problems there. You're going to have black holes there. You're going to have rips. The same with the third subtle body, which is your mental subtle body attached to your third chakra. I know that with every single thought that you think, you can have problems in your subtle bodies, because you can continue to bring in negative energy every single time you say something like, I hate my father, I hate my father, I hate my father. And you just constantly expand the energy of the negative energy of in that subtle body. The fourth subtle body is your feeling body, and that's related to your heart chakra. Then your fifth is just called the throat subtle body. Your sixth is called the brow subtle body, and your seventh is called the crown subtle body. So the names don't change, but it's the subtle bodies that people work as Reiki practitioners and energy healers in general work with to put in energy and to plump the energy up. Okay, if we go to this page 12, your auric field is actually fed through the colors that you use. And interestingly enough, when you're attracted to certain colors, whether it's in food or whether it's in clothes or whether it's in paint on the wall or furniture accessories, just know that that's your chakras talking to you, basically communicating with you.
Lately, I have been buying a lot of stuff in my house, decoration with this color.
Oh, with the like celestite,
Like
Yeah.
celeste.
the light blue.
Light
Interesting.
blue.
Yeah, beautiful. Do you want to show that, Karina? Bring that
Yes.
to the and just show it in each.
With this
See,
color.
that's exquisite. Show it
Mhm.
on this one. Perfect. Yeah. And again, what is that? That's the throat chakra. And I'm pretty sure celestite can be for the throat as well as the crown.
Okay.
I'm sure it's for both,
Okay.
because the angels will always accept the crown energy as well as the throat energy.
Okay.
But just know that when you are attracted, when you are pulled towards a certain color, just know that that's feeding you. And you hopefully can feed your chakras the colors of the fruits and vegetables.
Mhm.
And know that if you're drawn to beets, your root chakra needs some attention, or tomatoes, or radishes, or anything. So kind of look at the colors of the food that you're putting in your mouth, and know that somehow or other that is that's part of that grand design. To keep you going. One of the things that I wanted to cover too is that plants give off energy. Plants are amazing. Um, there's a wonderful book out there that is called The Secret Life of Plants. And I think I mention it. I know I mention it in Own Your Power, because it's one of the meditations in here. But I think it's Christopher Taylor and Peter somebody or other. But it came out, it was in the 70s, it was re-released in the 90s. I encourage you to go find it. They talk about, like, one of the Chinese scientists who had 10,000 experiments with plants. It would be lovely for us to be able to get some more information on those. Those are experiments that have been done and that just have gone into the ethers. One of the experiments I remember is that when plants were hooked up to lie detectors, and one of the thoughts that came in through the experimenter was, "Well, I'm going to cut this plant." The plant fainted on the lie detector.
Where
test.
did I read about that? In your book?
Yeah,
Yes, I
it's
read
it's in it's in here. It's in
one
Own Your
of
Power.
the lessons for October.
Exactly,
October
exactly,
lessons.
right. That's mentioned in that book, that it actually fainted,
Mhm.
and then it also, another one was hooked up to a plant, and it showed how the plant started getting excited 45 minutes before the owner was going to due to come home. So it was interesting that a plant can
Yes.
react. This goes to show you why a plant will react to anybody talking to it,
Yes.
and effectively then fertilizing it. I know my plants, inside and out, get one shot of fertilizer typically, except my orchids. They're really giving me a hard time about reblooming. So except for my orchids, my plants get one shot of fertilizer and then the rest is Reiki inside the house and outside. And but my orchids, I'm trying to cajole them, and I don't think I'm giving them the correct sunlight. So I feel that
Or
they
maybe the heat.
super
The heat.
could be.
Yes.
Could be.
Remember
because,
that they are tropical plants
Yes.
and they need a lot of heat.
well, they're next to a register.
Uh-huh.
So, but they're also on a etagere that they're right up against the window, but I still don't feel I have enough sunlight streaming in. So yeah, so I think heat's okay, but I think the thing. So anyway, I do want to encourage you to try to see auras. It's not as difficult as you think, because I know in my case, when I had I think it was a 3-day meditation class. It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The very first time that I saw an aura was during the meditation class, but the irony was it wasn't the aura of the instructor. His wife had a collection of cowbells and from around the world. And so she had shelving built around the perimeters of the room, in every room in the house. And on the shelving, on the plank, platform, whatever, she had her cowbells put. And I would look across the room from where I was sitting, because the meditation instructor was here in front of me, and all the walls were around these sides. And I would see a stream of color that was different from what was on the wall and what her cowbells were. And yet it was a solid stream of color. And I knew it came from somewhere. So I figured, all right, I'm just seeing the aura. And the first time I saw an aura of a person was when I went to this time it's a 5-day seminar. This is in Omega in New York. And the instructor happened to be across a white background.
Oh, okay.
And he happened to be from Australia, and he loved to mock the royal family. So I would watch as he was talking about all the spiritual, all his spiritual stuff. And his aura would get bigger and bigger and bigger, and this light blue color, almost the color that you showed of the celestite. And then he'd mock the royal family, and the aura would come. The aura would pull right back.
Yeah.
And then he'd go back and start talking about his spiritual stuff, and it'd come out like this. And then again, he mocked the royal family. So I called it dancing lights. And I thought, whoa, that taught me something very quickly about what mocking somebody does. Because by that point, I knew what I was looking at. I knew that I was seeing his aura. And I knew that was being pulled in strictly because of the fact of the energy of mocking. So, so think about it the next time you want to hurtle an insult to anybody. Don't do it. Just don't do it, because it pulls your aura right totally in. Okay, chakras. We, like I had mentioned earlier, chakras simply mean spinning wheel of light. These are the colors of the chakras. I'm going to just show you right there. So red is on the bottom. It's the root chakra. Orange is the sacral. Yellow is the solar plexus. Green is and typically the heart can show up as green, but it also can show up as pink. So don't feel if you're seeing pink that you're seeing something wrong. Blue for the throat, indigo or purple for the third eye, and most of the time white or lavender for the crown. So it's not necessarily going to be purple. Yeah, because most of the time I will see a crown chakra. If I am seeing a color at all, I might see a white or lavender. Has that been your experience?
Well, I don't see auras, but you know, for the crown, I agree.
That's
Yeah.
the color. Any comments, Karina, on that? Okay. Um, chakras are an interesting thing. Um, I'm just going to describe them to you just so that you kind of get a visualization of what they look like. They're about, for every chakra, and I'm going to work with the heart chakra, it's about 7 funnels together. They're smaller funnels. They're narrower where the heart starts at the spine, and they go out as the heart, as you go out into the auric field. That's when they're normal. When they're abnormal, they can do funny things. They can have interesting shapes. You can find that. I mean, there was one time where I was like scanning somebody, and I was instructed to tell me what I found about the auric field. Well, to my horror, I found nothing. It wasn't there. There was no energy. And so as I made that statement, then the teacher just laughed and she said, well, where is it? And I thought, okay, well, where is it means it's somewhere. I just have to find it. So then I started to scan the person down one side and then down the other. What I found was she had, in this case, it was a female, she had moved her entire auric field next to her. And you have heard the term beside themselves. That really does exist.
Wow.
They really, in their trauma of whatever they've experienced, when they say they are beside themselves, they literally could have moved their auric field beside themselves. I did have a horrendously tragic occurrence once where that is exactly what a young girl had done. Moved her entire auric field next to her due to some very, very, very severe trauma. And so one side,
What, for protect herself, or
it was a form of protection.
what
Yeah.
happened is she has the chakras aligned normally.
Well, put it this way, nothing was normal.
Nothing was normal.
Nothing was normal. Effectively, everything was moved over to the side. And so it would be as if the chakras were like taffy pulled over, and then she had a whole energy body just basically sitting next to her.
Well, I
So-
mean, with abuse, you know, it's not uncommon
Exactly.
to leave the body and to become something other than the body, because
Exactly.
the body is being so abused.
Exactly.
So it's too painful to have your spirit and soul being abused. So it would make sense.
To
And
go
then,
to the
you
side.
know, you can go above and watch the abuse too, which
Right.
is not uncommon. Yeah.
Right. In this case, she wasn't being abused, but she was watching abuse.
Oh,
So
Mhm.
that's, and you wonder what's worse, you know. So and but anyway, she had but even the fact that I was able to uncover that, then we could effectively pull the body, the subtle bodies, back over to
How-
integrate
how-
by asking them.
Asking them.
Right, asking them to move back, finding them, moving them back, whether it's chakra by chakra, moving them back and aligning them, and then, reconnecting to herself. So the beauty is with with energy healing is you can help people that have gone from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor and have not been diagnosed because there's nothing that shows up for them. because it's not, even though they may have physical pain, technically their physical organs are still okay. Technically.
Once
Okay.
it happens to me that I was very sick, like 10 years ago,
Mhm.
I was very sick, and the doctors made all the
Tests.
tests possible, horrible tests included,
Yeah.
and nothing
Nothing came out.
came out.
Right. And according to their tests, you were fine.
Yes.
According to their tests.
Uh-huh.
But in the meantime,
I
nothing worked for
no,
you.
no, I had a lot of symptoms,
Yeah.
but nothing came out.
Nothing came out.
Mhm.
Yeah. So anyway, but this is the beauty with spiritual work, is that and again, when you align yourself strictly with the highest beings of light, I can't stress that enough. You do not use anything except God, angels, archangels, ascended masters. If you use ancestors, again, ask that they align with the highest beings of light.
Yeah, because
you
there
know.
could be some stuff going on there.
Exactly. Exactly. So you kind of have to be a little bit cautious about using ancestors to heal.
Yes.
Because a lot of times you have to heal the ancestors.
Yeah, the ancestors.
That's right. So
Tell me
anyway,
about that.
right. And we're going to have another talk on family constellation, and Karina will conduct that one because she's an expert on that.
Mhm.
So
January.
anyway, but like I had said earlier, your chakras actually get their fuel from colors. And colors are, because they are colored, they get their fuel from colors. And that's why you want to be a little bit cautious about always being in neutral. I can remember at a time when my home was, I had white walls everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And then I had the only the unifying color in my home was the teal,
Right.
but that might appear just as a strip of, in a border, and or in a stencil. And I recognized, this is too cool. There's no passion here. There's nothing here to
Mhm.
light the fire of enthusiasm, light the fire of energy, everything. So that's when I recognized, okay, I'm going from cool to warm. And that's when I changed my whole decor to the golds, reds, and with the blue, the teal, but teal is just an accent. It's not like the main color to bring forth the everything. So, but your fuel, your clothing, your food, your accessories, everything provides fuel.
So what about today that I am dressed in black?
It's interesting. Black is creative. You're creating, because black is the color of the void. And so black and white is the color of the void. Gray, less so. That would be to me. I know I have a gray sweater I absolutely love, but I'm very cautious when wearing it. I have to make sure that I don't have to do anything that I'm going to be put on the spot for, or that where I need to create, with it. So and everything. But no, black to me is a very, very strong color, because it's and look what you have underneath it, teal. And teal in what is that, Karina? Oh, okay.
It's teal.
It's teal, which is beautiful.
It's a shirt.
Yeah, a shirt.
See, I have,
a t-shirt.
I have black under
And
here.
you have black under that, so yeah. So anyway, but the beauty is that you have, once you understand the value of color, you're going to really look to bring more color into your life. And one of there are two colors right now that are showing up. I don't know if next time you see a rainbow, especially if you see it in the house. The two colors that are showing, two new colors that are showing up in the rainbow is a strip of aquamarine, just like the aquamarine in the stone. It's almost the identical color, and magenta.
You know, it's fascinating because years ago we couldn't even see pastels.
What do you mean?
As humans, years ago, many years ago, we could not see pastels.
No?
No,
Really?
we could not. Yeah.
Really?
Scientifically.
I didn't know that.
If you look at the old artwork,
Yeah, that's true.
years, many years, there was no, we couldn't.
You've got a point.
And
My
as
God.
we progress,
Yeah,
which I find fascinating because in 1997 was the harmonic conversion.
convergence.
So
Yes.
if you listen to David Hawkins with his kinesthetic testing,
Yes,
there was a shift of consciousness
that is correct.
from 200 to above 200. You
Correct.
Listen to his.
Absolutely. I've heard him in person.
Yeah, I love Hawkins.
Yeah.
So
I love his book.
So, but yeah, our colors, the ability to see color as human beings is expanding because we can't see half of what's going on in front of us right now.
Wow.
So the fact that it was probably always there, it's
Right.
just that we have evolved to be able to see
to
it.
be able to see it.
And what my IMT's person told me about, and I don't remember what it's called, but you have the two ages, and the people they're shifting into a new age, or they're not. And the ones that aren't shifting are the ones that are doing the egregious acts. The ones that are able to shift in are the ones that are evolving. So there's such a chasm.
Okay, say that again. The ones that aren't shifting
The
are
ones-
doing the egregious acts.
Yes.
That aren't shifting.
They are not.
I would so agree with that.
The ones that are shifting
right.
are starting to evolve.
Yes.
And she has what is it called? The sagittal, and what's the other one? But the IMT work is unbelievable. So and so it was like, am I there? And she checks you, and I'm there. But they can help bring you there too. And then what else was it that they said? But even with our political climate is as between, because the liberals are really getting way to the left. They are getting too far to the left. And then we have a 12-year-old president mentally. He's very smart with certain things, but he is emotionally an idiot. So you have this, but the chasm is just growing. So it's things have to get worse. And I said, that Trump is the year of the rooster.
Mm.
Okay, now what's the wake up call?
The rooster. Crows. Yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what the year he was born?
He's the year of the rooster.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he is the wake up call.
Wow.
But that is things have to get worse before they get better.
Sure.
But he's doing some things that other
Yeah.
presidents haven't done, and so he has done some good stuff.
Well, put it this way, to me, he brought all the plus to the surface. There was an underlying
but he is
there.
He's emotionally 12. He's an idiot.
Mm.
But he is doing. The fact that he's thinking about putting a term on this congressman. What do
you mean a term on
putting a limiting term on Congress
instead of allowing somebody to go 50 years if they get reelected?
They're putting it so that they'll have to pay for their own insurance and stuff. Yeah,
that would be interesting.
Changing a few things.
Yeah. If we could only get the same insurance they get, that would be huge. If we could only get the same stuff, because I know what my children pay for insurance is out of this. It's out of sight.
They don't have a good insurance man. You need an insurance man to help you get the best.
Exactly.
They shouldn't get their own. They need to get it.
Well, no, they're in the entertainment industry. So as long as they work for the union jobs, they're okay. They're okay. But then my son doesn't. But my daughter usually gets enough union jobs to keep her insured. My son does not. So then they have to pay through the nose to get the insurance. Yeah. And of course they have the baby. They're the ones with the little ones. So yeah. But anyway.
Mm-hmm. We're going to start again in Twitter. Okay.
So what happened?
Twitter it stopped because my phone went out. Um,
Out of power.
yeah, but the rest is.
Okay. So the chakras do you want me to cover the individual chakra? Well, let's see what time. Oh no, I can't.
That's okay. I know. The
I can't.
chakras.
Because we have to go on with our attunement.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right. The only thing that I would like you to read is from 14 to 19. I'm not going to cover any more, so just read everything that's in here,
Okay.
and I think that's all I have to do because the rest we're going to do upstairs. And but now what we're going to do is turn to page 23. I want to give you your last two symbols. Okay. Is that working?
No, because well.
Do you need something like this, Karina?
Yes.
Yeah, that probably would help. Okay. Yay.
Yes.
Okay.
We are
Technical difficulties.
techniques.
All covered.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, sweetie. All right. Yeah, because it's 3:00 already, and we have to stay on time. There is one thing under symbols. We are going to get the last two symbols. Now, I know people have had different symbols. People get different symbols. So take a look at what's on page 26. I'm sorry, 27. 27. All right, now Karina has these because she was with me.
Mhm.
What about you? The
Well,
chokure, the hanshaze shonin, and the saheki.
yeah.
Does yours look like that?
Mhm.
Okay, great. All right, because now we're going to get the last two symbols. One of them is the dai-ko-myo, and the last one is the Reiki.
Okay.
The Reiki is the thunderbolt, and the only time I use the thunderbolt is when I seal in your energy after your attunement.
Okay.
The dai-ko-myo is the one that goes first on, so it's going to be in front of the chokure, then the hanshaze shonin, then the saheki. So it will be the first one, and then the other way you can use the Reiki if you want it is to ground anybody's energy. The way we ground it, the way I've been taught and the way I teach my students, is to smooth the energy field at the end and 3 times, and then seal it with the sign of the infinity 3 times. So that's the way we use it. So effectively, if you look on page 20, well, just go back to 26. It's a little bit bigger. And 26, you start with the inside. And the dai-ko-myo, you start with the inside, you curl up, you go around, you curl up, you go around, you curl up, and you end at your pinky. Okay, so you start on the inside of your palm and go around, curl up, go around, curl up, go around, end up at your pinky. Then go to your pointer finger, do a little branch over, and then do a baby Reiki. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
My fingers are to
Really? Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. Karina,
hurt?
that's wild.
They start to what?
They started to have pain.
Pain. Look at my vein.
My goodness. Puffy. Puffed out.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Something's wrong there. We're going to have to work.
Mhm.
That's your root chakra acting
Yes.
up.
Okay.
So we're going to have to work on your root chakra when you're on the table.
Okay, perfect.
You know, and
Mhm.
everything, because that's what that is. All right. Because this is so simple. And then when you do you want to? So
Yes.
you want to try it again?
Again, yes.
From the center, curl around, go down, curl around, go down, curl around, end up at your pinky, then go over to the pointer, go above your pinky, so you have a little gap between the pinky and the pointer, and in that gap you put in the baby Reiku. So it's the thunderbolt, but it's a teeny tiny version of the thunderbolt.
Okay.
Okay. And the thunderbolt is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 lines back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So practice that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And like I said, I start at your head and I do it all the way down to your feet. Okay. All right. Is that okay?
Yes.
Karina? Okay. So what we're going to do now and is give you your attunement. And in giving you your attunement, we'll go into the living room because I want you both sitting in the living room. I've always given my attunements in the living room, and the energy there is just different. Prior to the attunement, Mary, just so you know, Karina's already experienced it. I do a prayer for the unified chakra. It's pretty long. It's by Archangel Ariel. And I do that. And so when I do that, I you sit there with your feet both on the floor, hands up on your knees in the receptive position, just breathing and just taking in. And I ask that you follow it with in your mind's eye as wherever I'm saying that, this breath, wherever it is, you just follow it.
Okay.
When I'm ready for you, I will come and get you. There's only 2 of you. No big deal. It's going to be in alphabetical order. So Karina will go first. You will go second.
Okay.
Then I will take you, put you in the chair. And when the only thing that I ask of you is when I take your hands, put them either up or down. I'm going to place them into the prayer position. Leave them where I place them.
Okay.
In other words, don't move them from where I've put them. Okay, that's the only thing that you have to do. Okay, attunements take about 3 minutes, so it's not long at all, and everything. And from there, we will go. We do just a very quick feedback, and then we take a very quick break, and then we go upstairs and do our healing for each other. You each get about half an hour. Okay, so you each get a time to. And you're going to be given, since you didn't have me for Reiki II, I'm going to show you 2 Metatron healing methods because Karina already has one because she had Reiki II. But I'm gonna show you that, and I think we'll be televising both
Yes,
of
we are
those
going
because we've
to
never
go
televised that
live in
on that.
Twitter, Facebook, and also in YouTube.
Okay.
Approximately half an hour, 1 hour, doing the Metatron.
Roughly, yes, somewhere probably 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
We will do that.
Exactly.
Are we going to also go live with the attunement?
No.
Okay.
No, that
Okay.
I'll have to pray on that, to see if what my guides say about a live attunement.
Yes.
So let's take the camera off for that.
Okay.
All
So
right.
we will be back in around 45
minutes, maximum an hour.
Okay.
Maximum.
Maximum 1 hour.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I have to know the rules of engagement here. Thank you.
Okay.
And before I run, I just wanted another plug for Own Your Power. Upbeat, positive, and healing. Fantastic book. I've gotten fantastic feedback. Everybody who's reading it just loves it, and they are getting wonderful, wonderful messages. And like I said, over 16 years of effort went into this. With it resting for 4 years, it's a 20-year endeavor. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay. I learned whenever I said anything, it recorded what I said. So I had to learn. Be
It's recording.
still.
Still recording here.
Still.
Yeah.
Okay.